Sometime around the 11th century BCE, the eastern Mediterranean collapsed. Bronze Age empires that had stood for centuries dissolved, leaving a power vacuum that plunged the Greek world into a prolonged dark age. In Athens, the turmoil claimed the life of the legendary King Kodros. His death triggered a succession crisis that left his son, Prince Androklos, politically displaced and effectively exiled from his own home. Androklos inherited the responsibility of leading thousands of fellow displaced Ionians away from the mainland. He packed them onto ships to cross the unpredictable waters of the Aegean Sea in search of a new homeland. These ships carried the last organized remnants of Athenian institutions. Finding stable ground was the only way to prevent their culture from dissolving into chaos. Before setting sail, Androklos sought guidance from the ultimate spiritual authority in the ancient Mediterranean, the Oracle of Delphi. He needed a specific destination for this new colony. The priestess delivered a riddle as a map. Androklos was told to build his city only at the exact location where a fish shows the way and a boar leads. For a fleet preparing to map an unknown coastline, using woodland animals and seafood as navigational coordinates ignored every known principle of naval exploration. Still, with no other options, Androklos loaded his people onto the boats. He wagered the future of the Ionian migration on a prophecy that defied all practical navigation. The Ionian fleet successfully navigated the Aegean crossing. They landed on the western coast of Anatolia and set up a temporary camp near the slopes of Mount Pion. After days at sea, the colonists focused on basic needs. Androklos and his men gathered near the shore to cook their daily catch of fish over an open campfire. As the oil heated, a fish suddenly leapt from the frying pan. The impact scattered glowing coals out of the fire pit and directly into the dry brush, immediately igniting the thicket. The sudden burst of smoke startled a wild boar that had been hiding in the undergrowth. Panicked by the flames, the animal burst from the bushes and fled across the landscape. In a matter of seconds, the impossible conditions of the Delphic oracle, the fish showing the way, and the boar leading, had occurred in perfect sequence. Recognizing the sign, Androklos instantly mounted his horse. He pursued the fleeing boar across the terrain and struck it down, marking the geographic center of his new city. Claiming this territory meant confronting an inhabited landscape. The Anatolian coast was already held by indigenous Carian and Lelegian tribes. Translating prophecy into reality required force. Ionian soldiers systematically attacked these populations, driving them out to secure a permanent foothold. This act of displacement officially founded the city of Ephesus. It also established the base of operations for the unified Ionian League. The story of the fish and the boar portrays a heroic destiny, but the actual birth of the city relied on the practical realities of colonization and military conquest. Androklos eventually died in battle while defending a neighboring Greek settlement. His body was brought back to Ephesus and buried in a high-status tomb near the city's Magnesian Gate. Over the next 1,000 years, the settlement became the capital of Roman Asia Minor. By the 1st century BCE, it housed over 250,000 people within an urban grid centered around immense structures like this theater. Yet, even as a Roman provincial capital, Ephesus remained fixated on its ancient Greek origins. Citizens built elaborate shrines and funded public statues honoring Androklos as their divine founder. They minted his face onto their currency and carved the story of the boar hunt directly into the stones of elite architecture, like the friezes on the Temple of Hadrian. This ancient obsession served a political function. By broadcasting the myth of Androklos, the Ephesians reinforced a prestigious Athenian lineage, projecting cultural authority across the Roman world. The exiled prince became an eternal civic anchor. His story proves that a civilization's survival relies as much on the enduring power of its founding myth as on the strength of its walls.